residents of Ondo State have been assured that no effort will be spent to reduce impact of malaria fever and increase the level of immunization for children under the age of 5. Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, while receiving the World Bank Impact Team on Immunization and Malaria, said the commitment of his administration to reduce maternal mortality rate to the lowest level is ongoing. Aiyedatiwa, who promised to make judicious use of the $14 million intervention funds by the World Bank, said quarterly review will be carried out to ensure that relevant agencies do not deviate from the set objectives. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole reports that Ondo State is one of the 29 states benefiting from the World Bank intervention.
The state while increasing the level of immunization, especially among children under the
It's about 18 to 19 billion. So under this project, there is about above 16 billion that is on the table that can be used to quickly revitalize health services in Ondo State. The whole reason for this project is we want to scale up access to immunization services and malaria services. On the immunization component, the states, you are going to receive $20,000 per facility.
Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa appreciated the World Bank for adding the state to the list of beneficiaries with an assurance that his administration will not divert the funds away from the original intention. The governor highlighted efforts of his administration to improve healthcare service delivery in the state, which include the health insurance scheme and employment of health workers.
We'll be having access, not just access, wider access to funds that can be judiciously utilized to execute all the projects, that is within this impact project, as it were. And I want to assure you that by the time we put all measures in place and you fully, board our team into this project, I want to assure you that we will stay true. We will abide by the World Bank fiduciary guidelines, so that there won't be a case of refunding money or change of use of fund. The fund is huge. I mean, you can have that injected into our health system and we'll be able to do a lot. Because currently the state is doing a lot, but because we are not listed on your impact project, the statistics, this scores well, as it were, but I want to believe that is not the true position of our health system.
Aiyedatiwa promised effective quarterly review of the operations and the funds to meet the set targets while promoting transparency and efficiency.
The rural areas would benefit because these funds will be disbursed to the 203 wards in Ondo State, all the primary healthcare that are present in all the wards, and about $20,000, yes, per ward will be given for them to be able to improve the primary healthcare facility in that area.
The governor reassured of his dedication to make affordable healthcare available to residents of the state at all levels. In an interview, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Banji Ajaka, commended the team for partnering the state in tackling health challenges and assured of effective utilization of the funds. Ondo State is one of the 29 states benefiting from the World Bank intervention that will end in 2025. Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
And the Ondo State Executive Council has approved the sum of 2 billion naira as additional intervention fund to enhance food security and cushion effect of economic challenges for the people of the state. The Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Wale Akinlosoto, when addressing the media after the meeting of the State Executive Council, said the state government has started distributing food commodities received from the federal government to vulnerable residents. Akinlosoto said plans have been concluded to have subsidized food sales at designated markets across the 3 senatorial districts of the state. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankalo again reports that the council also took some far-reaching decisions aimed at making life better for residents of the state.
The State Executive Council meeting, presided over by Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, took some decisions to promote good governance in the Sunshine State.
The Ondo State Exco.
Following the conclusion of the meeting, it was time to make public some of the actions and decisions taken by the State Executive Council. Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Mr. Wale Akinlosoto, said additional 2 billion naira intervention fund has been released to boost food production and arrest hunger. Commissioner for Agriculture and Forestry, Olayato Aribo, added that the food items have been allocated to the 18 local government areas of the state.
Council approved that there should be a Sunday market in 3 areas in each senatorial area of the state. We will start with those ones and probably extend it to other cities and local government headquarters. What we will do, we have identified that we should have sell rice, beans, garri at reasonable price, subsidized price.
The special advisor to the governor on infrastructure, Ayo Adebabalola, said funds have also been approved for 20-kilometer road rehabilitation in the 3 senatorial districts, noting that plans are on to extend installation of solar street lights to other parts of the state.
By the time we begin to see this thing, we will observe that it will also affect the economy of the state, because all these contractors, by the time buying cement, buying a lot of things, there will be a lot of exchange, and then a lot of things will be poured into the state economy.
The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Amidu Takuro, announced that the council has approved the appointment of 3 new traditional rulers.
Executive Council of Ondo State have approved the appointment of Prince Oladele Frederick Akimoye as the new Honorable ruler of Oderije in October local government of Ondo State. Also, the council also approved Prince Mufolorunsho Adegboyega Arasanyi as the new Adana Ava of Okeagbe in Koko Northwest local government of Ondo State. The council also approved the appointment of Prince Idris Ayodele Femi as the new Biri of Ekpemi Akoko in Akoko Southeast area of Ondo State.
The Commissioner for Regional Integration and Diaspora Relations, Prince Boye Ologbese, said the council approved the establishment of a diaspora smart city in Akure in a bid to diversify the economy of the state and drive its tourism potentials.
We want to make our port a tourism destination port, that is Ondo DC port. Because of the natural draft of the port, it makes it easier for a bigger vessel to come in, so that the Ministry of Culture and Tourism can actually partner with international crews of the world to make our port a tourism destination and arrange a coach to bring them to the city capital to exploit the tourism hub in Akure.
The Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Mr. Gbenga Olaniyi, said council approved compulsory acquisition of lands set aside for the development of like schools and health centers across the state.
Those lands are set aside for the development of public facilities. So today, it has become mandatory that such lands must be allowed for the development for the purpose for which it is being approved. that is the public infrastructures.
Olaniyi noted that it is now an offense for anyone to divert and take over government lands and property. Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
Senate passes 2024 National Minimum Wage Amendment Act Bill. This and more after the break. Please do rejoin us then.
Hey, Iskilu, báwo la ti fẹ́ sanwó ni? Farabalẹ̀. 1,000. We go wash plate tire o. Farabalẹ̀ now.
Madam, èló lówó wa?
Brother, na 3,005.
Màá fún yín ní owó pé káàdì Glo ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀rún 10,000.
Oh yeah.
Bring your phone.
Ha! 10,000.
1,000 naira credit. Now you turn to 10,000.
No. All of us don't know about Glo Berekete. Ní ìlọ́po mẹ́wàá nísìnyí.
Ṣó ti gbọ́ ìlọ́po mẹ́wàá ló máa gbà lórí iyekíye tó o bá rà sórí ohun ìpè Glo Berekete 10 times rẹ.
I told you. Now what go tell?
Thank you very much for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. In continuation of efforts to enhance governance and service delivery to the people, Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has sworn in 3 new special advisors to become members of the State Executive Council and Executive Chambers of his office. They are Special Advisor on Women Affairs, Dr. Sheon Osamai, Environment, Adeyemi Olayemi, as well as Legislative Matters and Special Duties, Dr. Chibayo Adeyeye. While congratulating the new appointees, the Governor urged them to bring to bear their wealth of experience and dedicate themselves to service of humanity. Meanwhile, the Governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has approved the appointment of members of the board of Ondo State's Football Agency. According to the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Prince Ebenezer Adeniyo, the board members include Bamidele Ologunloluwa as Executive Chairman, while Oladimeji Abimbola and Mr. Akintunde Akishimola will serve as full-time members. Others are Mr. Tokumbo Akinyelure, part-time member, representing Football Association, and Mrs. Evelyn Elebi, another part-time member representing the Ministry of Sports. The government charges the new board members to bring their wealth of knowledge and experience to bear towards improving football administration in state. One of the full members, Akintunde Akishimola, is an editor and sport journalist with OSRC. And now the state government has announced a business enabling reform action plan for the southern districts. This gave birth to the issuance of license to independent electricity consultants towards distributing electricity to the affected areas. License has been issued to an independent distribution network, Ayimba Distribution Electricity Network, towards providing electricity to 4 local government areas in the district. There are Okitipupa, Irili, Ilaje, and Esaudo local government areas. This followed government's ban on distribution companies discos who failed to build the necessary infrastructure to distribute power to the affected areas. After receiving the license, Olu of Igbokoda, Oba Afolabi Odidiomo, thanked Governor Aiyedatiwa for keying into the amended Electricity Law 2024 in terms of energy cogeneration, transformation and distribution to host communities. The consultant managing director of Ayimba Distribution Electricity Network, Mr. Idowu Desnano, said the company would provide distribution of electricity, transformer, metering, among others. Federal High Court in Abuja has declined to grant a motion to stop the Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, from spending from the state's Consolidated Revenue Fund. Rather than grant the motion ex parte, Justice James Nwete asked the plaintiffs to put Fubara and other defendants in the suit on notice. The suit was filed by the faction of the Rivers State House of Assembly loyal to ex-Governor Nyesom Wike. The factional assembly, led by Martin Amoewule, had, during its plenary on July 15, resolved to ban Fubara from spending from the Rivers State Consolidated account following its refusal to present the 2024 budget afresh. The 25 pro-Wike lawmakers had at their previous sittings given Fubara a 7-day ultimatum to present the budget, threatening to take action against him if he refused. Fubara, however, said he would not present afresh the 800 billion naira budget already passed in January by the factional assembly loyal to him. The Senate has passed the 2024 National Minimum Wage Amendment Act bill after a series of negotiations between the federal government and the organized labor. This followed presentation and adoption of a report on the bill by the leader of the Senate, Okoyemi Bamidele. The bill, which was transmitted to the Senate by President Bola Tinubu, was given accelerated consideration, resulting in its first and second reading in line with Senate Rule 80, and the bill sought to amend the National Minimum Wage Act 2019. According to reports, the bill seeks to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time for periodic review from 5 years to 3 years. And now the Nigerian Labour Congress has issued a warning against any attempt to suppress Nigerians' fundamental right to express their views, particularly in the light of the planned nationwide protest. The NLC called on the government to engage the protesters constructively rather than resorting to measures that could undermine citizens' rights to voice their grievances. The Labour Union also called on President Bola Tinubu to listen to the cries of Nigerians over hunger and widespread hardship in the country. A section of Nigerians have been mobilized to start nationwide protests on August 1 under the hashtags Tinubu Must Go and Revolution 2024. The presidency, however, described such calls as treasonable, as it is also accused the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his supporters of spreading the hashtags. The Public Complaints Commission, PCC, has urged personnel to demonstrate a high sense of professionalism in the discharge of their duties. We apologize for the breaking transmission. The Public Complaints Commission, PCC, has urged personnel to demonstrate a high sense of professionalism in the discharge of their duties. The PCC's Director of Investigation in Bauchi State, Ali Abdullahi, stated this during the inauguration of the 5-day training workshop in Bauchi. Abdullahi said the exercise also aimed at improving understanding and awareness creation on its operations in the communities. This, he said, will equip the personnel with skills to professionally receive and resolve complaints amicably. The exercise was attended by about 50 personnel drawn from the Commission's head office and 9 zonal offices in Bauchi State. The International Labour Organization is set to unveil a new report addressing the global effect of heat stress on workers. The comprehensive study examines the impact across various regions and sectors, including nations unfamiliar with extreme heat challenges. According to a statement issued by LO, key highlights of the report include updated figures of the prevalence of heat-exposed workers worldwide, detailed regional analysis on the consequences of heat stress, economic assessment, and suggestions for implementing effective workplace heat action plans. The statement adds that the reports and all related documents will remain under a strict embargo until July 25. And now to the foreign scene, an Ethiopian government official says at least 157 people have died in the district of Gofa in the southwest after two landslides hit the area. Officials say women, children, and police officers are among the dead. Rescue efforts are underway. Kemali Ashi Muhammad is an Ethiopian member of parliament. He says joint operations are underway to retrieve the bodies of those people still buried by Monday's landslide.
The incident happened following a heavy rain. The damage is heavy. Initially, it was 3 families that were buried by the landslide. We are still searching for bodies, but the death toll surged after people who came to the rescue also got trapped. So far, we don't have exact numbers as we are identifying casualties. When we complete the investigation, we will make everything public. It is a very sad incident. We are transporting the injured to health facilities and hospitals. We are trying to gather people who lost their houses. We might also need earth-moving machines and bring them here.
What exactly happened is a sudden situation. So I think, according to the information we received from the local authority on Monday morning around 10 a.m., a landslide has happened due to a heavy rain. So since this is not a very common case in the area, so people were very hopeful that they can rescue very few people who were victims of the first landslide. And as they really moved with a large number to rescue them, another landslide in a few moments gap happened then, which became a reason, for the days of a greater number than what was expected. So that's what exactly happened. According to information they are giving us, still people are searching for the bodies of the victims. Everyone, be it the community or the local government, they're really highly collaborating in finding the bodies. That's what's happening.
In US, Joe Biden's withdrawal from the 2024 presidential race was primarily due to concerns about his age, a decision made in the best interest of both the Democratic Party and the country. This move has sparked diverse reactions, with many drawing comparisons between the political landscape in the United States and that of African nations. Omorion languages sought opinions from various elites on how this decision benefits democracy.
While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it's in the best interest of my party and the country.
Joe Biden pulled out of the presidential race and endorsed his vice, Kamala Harris, to replace him as the Democrats' nominee. This followed pressures from party members after his debate performance last month, which raised concerns about his age and ability to defeat former President Trump. Reactions from around the world, including Nigeria, showed that the American president displayed high level of decency, not only in the interest of American government, but the global community. An Akure-born politician, Tunji Ariyomo, who attributed the action to the age-long democratic practice in America, was of the opinion that Nigerians can also improve on their political system, which he said must be for the interest of the people.
We have issues they probably didn't have while they were evolving. Like here now you have ethnicity, which is like racism. And then you have religious disharmony. So these things conspire against us. And that is why you have not seen our people forging a consensus to be able to say, Mr. President, you need to step down. So I believe strongly, without any restriction or inhibition, that at some point we will get to that stage and it will happen.
In the same vein, a political analyst, Lekon Olajobi, believes that it is a good antecedent that other countries can take a cue from to strengthen the nation's democracy.
It's a welcome development to even show some of the countries around us who are still practicing democracy to take a cue from him that it is not always the interest or the selfish interest of whoever wants to be a leader that's most important. Sometimes when the interests coincide, the best to do honorably is for the president or anyone in the position of leadership to honorably, resign and step down.
Can this gesture be exhibited in Nigeria, even with obvious challenges capable of grounding the socio-economic activities of the nation? Dr. Tunde Fajimbola speaks.
We can take good example for this. If we have some leaders in Africa that are not really, that felt that they are not really strong enough to hold on to power or to contest, they can give room or give chance to those that they feel can deliver more strongly the dividends of democracy.
Though a 59-year-old black woman and Asian American Kamala Harris was endorsed by Biden to face Donald Trump in the coming election, respondents believe in her capacity and experience, but sense it would be a highly contentious race.
Experience racism firsthand, experience all sorts of things, and she has been going far. She herself is not racist. She loves white people, she loves black people, she loves Indian people, which means that if such a person have the opportunity and the privilege to become commander-in-chief of the armed forces in the USA, she's going to be fair to all.
So I foresee a situation where the gender sentiment can come forth and try to sway opinion towards the candidacy of the Democrats.
In 248 years history of democracy in America, a female has never been elected president. This, no doubt, will shift attention to the presidential race between the Kamala Harris of Democrats and her Republican rival, a 78-year-old former president, Donald Trump. Omoriola Mugbeji, Osrc News.
And U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has formally launched a campaign to become the president and says she has already secured the support of enough Democratic delegates to clinch her party's nomination. Shion Aditola has the detail.
Vice President Harris meets members of what is now her campaign staff in Wilmington, Delaware. It is the hometown of President Biden, who is still recovering from COVID and who addressed the meeting by phone.
The name has changed at the top of the ticket, but the mission hasn't changed at all.
As the vice president started speaking, the president made clear he was still on the phone.
Love you, Joe.
Kamala Harris threw down the gauntlet to Donald Trump, referring back to her time as prosecutor and state attorney general.
Predators who abused women. Fraudsters who ripped off consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
In the wake of President Biden's decision not to contest the election, what began as a trickle of endorsements for Kamala Harris has become a flood.
I'm fired up to endorse Kamala Harris.
Multiple state governors have expressed their support, some of whom were considered potential challenges for the nomination.
Not only because of how honorably she has served in the past, but how absolutely ready she is to be president.
Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also gave her endorsement. This is particularly significant. She had previously argued for an open convention in which the nomination would be contested. While praising Kamala Harris, the two Democratic Party leaders in Congress have not yet formally endorsed her. This is seen by some as reluctance to put a finger on the scale. Shion Adetola, Osrc News.
Israeli troops have killed 5 Palestinians, including 2 women, in a pre-dawn raid on a refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. At least 579 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli soldiers or settlers in the territory since the conflict began. And that's the news tonight, but before we go, here are some of the top stories. We told you that Ondo State is partnering the World Bank towards accessing over 16 billion naira for effective health care. And we also brought to you a report that the Senate has passed 2024 National Minimum Wage Amendment Act bill. That's the news tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.